Hello everyone, this is Razorflamekun, and in this episode of the Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction Let's Play, we are going to be heading into the pit, which is an optional dungeon. However, this is going to be the first of several post-commentary episodes because of the fact that my stupid computer changed a setting on me, so I wasn't able to do much about anything. As you see here, I'm checking my gear and my hireling's gear, and changed one of the hireling's equipment so that it's because it was better. And I went ahead and repaired my equipment and sold the extra equipment. And here I am checking the current equipment out that Charcy is selling, and then we're going to be heading off to the pit, or actually we're going to be heading off to the outer cloister first, and then we're going to be heading to the pit. Right here I'm just checking out the gear and seeing if anything's better for the hireling that I have, and I'm checking the chain boot, the chain gloves, which are actually better, so I went ahead and bought them. And then I'm checking all of the other equipment and stuff like that. Just checking the belt there, and now we're heading over to Geed because he sometimes has better stuff than what you can get for this. And right here, he actually has chainmail there, which I actually end up buying for 19,000 gold. And you'll see how much better it is. 74 defense as opposed to 48, which is why I switched it out and sold that, which buying that took pretty much all of the gold that I had. And as you can see, it's actually not that good in terms of equipment, in terms of enchantments, but still it was worth it. Here I'm just checking the different things that Geed can sell, and as you can see, my character now looks quite a bit different with the chainmail, because chainmail is actually considered heavier armor than the ringmail. And right here I'm just going back to my stash and selling some stuff and checking my gear once again, and we are heading over to the waypoint, and we're heading to the outer cloister. From here we are making our way out of here because we need to go and make our way back outside to the area where the pit was. And as you can see, I'm killing some monsters just to get their loot, and as you can see, the loot wasn't even that good in my opinion. But over here I saw that my hireling was fighting something, so I went back to check on my hireling and found that he was, or she was, indeed fighting something, so I went and took care of that. And I'm heading out the front door, and I find some returned archers, which are a new enemy we haven't fought before. And I went and took care of them. Same with the Dark Lancers. It's another enemy we haven't fought before, but they're found in the Tamo Highland. Dark Stalkers, of course, we have found, and I just have to say that there's going to be a lot of throwing potions found in this episode. One thing I hated about this was that I found a Minion Monster, which happened to be a cold enchanted Minion Monster, which really hurt the amount of that stuff that I had, health that I had, and I ended up picking up all of the stuff that he had, including the healing potions and stuff. And then I just identified that, and we're heading off again. We found some more returned archers. The one thing that I do have to say with these post-commentary episodes is that it's not going to be my normal commentary because I'm not used to doing post-commentary, so I'm very sorry if the quality of my commentary isn't as good as it is normally. Again, I apologize for that. But as we got a light belt there and another throwing potion there. Because as I said, we're going to be finding a lot of scrolls and a lot of throwing potions in this episode. So I'm just going around and exploring the areas of the Tamo Highland that I haven't explored yet. I already know where the optional dungeon is. It's where that special cave entrance is to the southwest of us. And I just picked up another throwing potion there. You really want to make sure that you look everywhere in areas, wide open areas like this, because you never know what could be hiding items, such as those loose rocks and such. You just have to be ever vigilant and careful. One thing that I am going to say is that we're definitely going to be finding quite a few very special, we're going to find a very special item in this episode. Or it's either in this episode or the episode after this one, because of the fact that we are going to be finding our first set item. Sure, I guess I spoiled it for those of you who wanted the surprise, but I just didn't really feel like it's that big of a surprise. But we are going to be getting our first set item very soon. Right here, I'm just trolling for experience, going around. Fighting things to get experience, and as you can see, not much is really happening in terms of going to the actual optional dungeon. We are going to get there, I promise you, in this episode, and we're going to go through the entire dungeon. It's just that we go through a whole bunch of other stuff first. One thing I haven't mentioned is that the Holy Fire aura that my Paladin has on is very good for taking out all of the carvers and devilkins that are in a big group like this, because it damages all of them instead of just one of them, and it just really helps with the process of taking out, of working with the aura so that I can go after the monsters that are reviving them, the shamans first, so that I can, and damaging all of the other ones in the process. But here we are, we're finally going to the pit, which is a 2-level dungeon, and in here we find bone warriors and dark stalkers, as well as dark archers. Bone warriors are in the next area, so in the monastery, I believe. So we'll be finding them there as well. But as you can see, there isn't too much to talk about. So I did want to talk about some of the other things that have been going on. But as you can see here, we fought another minion monster who actually dropped a rejuvenation potion, but he also dropped that Targe, which was not a good thing for him to drop, because it ended up being ethereal, and as you can see, it didn't have any good enchantments on it, so I kind of wasted a scroll of identify on it. I probably should have not used a scroll of identify on it, but that's the price that you pay sometimes. And as you can see there, I picked up yet another throwing potion, which adds to the total of, makes the total something like I have 6 this episode so far, which is a ton. I mean, it's sort of like that episode where I fought a whole bunch of them in one. And as you can see, we fought another minion monster, which was a cold enchanted one again. And I also picked up this Rondichet, but that actually turned out to be really good. A really good helm to pick up, because it was a better. It added an enchantment that added to skills. Whenever you find something that adds to skills like that, it always ends up costing more. I mean, selling for more, as you found out in the previous episodes, and that wand ended up being crap. That's what I picked up, but they ended up selling for a lot, and that's why I always pick up scepters and wands and stuff like that, because they always seem to sell for a lot. Up here we encounter more Devilkins and Darkstalkers and Devilkin Shamans, which are another new enemy, because we haven't seen them yet. They basically are the same as all of its predecessors. They have the ability to raise pretty much just raise any Devilkins that are in the area. And as you all know, you don't get any experience for killing for killing any monsters that the shaman revives, is what I've been trying to say. Again, I'm struggling with this commentary because it's not my usual commentary. I'm usually a live commentator, so post-commentary is something new for me. And I just hope that I don't screw up this commentary. Please let me know how I did in my first post-commentary Let's Play episode. And I would be really happy if you could do that. Anyways, we go off and explore this new area over here, which ends up being another area with a lot of monsters to take care of. And there's our first Longstaff of the game. As with everything else, I always pick up staffs, wands, and everything because of what they could potentially have on them, such as really good enchantments that increase skills and stuff like that. And there's our seventh throwing potion, which you'll find out soon enough is pretty hard to come by. They are normally harder to come by than this, and because they sell for quite a lot. But up here we find more archers and Devilkins. I think there's also a shaman, if I'm not mistaken, but I can't remember because I recorded this several hours, or not hours, but several days ago. And yes, there was a shaman, but I ended up looking around for it for for like 10 minutes, and it took me a while to find it. And there ended up being multiple shamans as well as a well right there. But there's our first spike shield drop of the game from monsters, that is. And that ended up being a pretty significant drop. Not as significant as a drop that we find later on in this, either in this dungeon or the next dungeon, but it ends up being a very significant drop. And since I'm full, I end up using a scroll of town portal, and we head back to town to sell stuff. As per usual, I go. Yes. And this time I actually go straight to Charcy and repair equipment first and then sell. That Rondache ended up selling for crap, but everything else, especially that helm, ended up selling for a pretty decent amount of money. And here goes the steep 500 per one of those, and it's just the reason why I picked up all of those potions was because of that. And here I'm just checking all of the all of the equipment to see if any of them is better, any of them are better than the ones that I'm currently carrying, and it turns out none of them are. So I go ahead and stash all of the gold that I have, and right there I was checking on the runes again and other stuff, and then we head back to the pit. Back in the pit, we go backwards a little bit, and I end up picking up some of the stuff that I missed in the previous time I was here because I didn't have enough room to carry it. But I end up finding the entrance to the second floor up here after I go through a whole bunch of monsters right here. Another thing that ends up happening is I end up gaining a level as well in this. And as I said, there's the way to the level pit level 2, and we find lots of Devilkins with shamans, as well as several minion monsters and even more throwing potions, believe it or not. But I take care of those in here, and as I said, there's our first minion monster that was lightning enchanted. Those are probably, in my opinion, some of the most dangerous minion monsters because they always have the charged bolt that radiates out from them, and that really becomes problematic. especially later on. Anyways, the skill that I end up choosing for this one is I end up increasing resist fire to increase the damage that my holy fire does, and I end up increasing my strength by, I think it was 3, and there it is. There's the first set item. It ends up being Kleeglaw's Claw Small Shield, which is part of a set. These are special items that are only found, they're very rare, and as you can see, even though it's a small shield, it has an insane defense. 26 defense. It's almost as good as the defense of my spiked shield, which is why I picked it up. And whenever you see that green text, that sort of bold neon green text, that means you should pick up that item because it's a set item. And as I was saying, they're very rare. They're rarer than rare items, but not as rare as unique items. And what I was thinking about what I should do with it, and I end up putting it onto the second weapon slot. Every character has 2 weapon slots that he can switch between by pressing the W key, I believe it is. So I end up putting it on there. Yep, it is the W key. So I end up putting it on my second weapon slot. And over here I found a bunch more gold and stuff, and I found the blue shimmering chest, which I opened and got a large charm from, as well as healing potions, the regular healing potions, and the regular mana potions as well, which are pretty hard to come by. Both of them are pretty hard to come by. That a large charm didn't turn out to be too good, so it ended up not being that good of a find. But I also found a third healing potion, which is perfect because we really do need to start stocking up on those because we're going to be using them in the upcoming battle very soon. But we won't find out who it's against until next episode. But pretty much after going there, the rest of the video is just me walking back out to the overworld, and as you can see, I actually lost my hireling in the battle against the lightning enchanted minion monster, so I did end up losing a little bit of. I ended up having to go and revive her, or resurrect her rather, which turned out to not be it ended up costing a bit, but overall it was fine. I really liked my performance in this episode, and I really think I did a really good job, and I was really lucky to have found the extra set item at the end of this optional dungeon, which goes to show you that sometimes it's actually better to go into the optional dungeons for even if it's just one time, because you never know if you'll find a unique or a rare unique or set item like what happened to me. So that's why I always say to go into these even if you're over leveled, because the time that you spend in them is potentially could be well worth it. And I have no idea how I missed that superior mace or that gold. It's blasphemy, I say. But overall, I just decided to go and search a little bit more of this cave just over here a little bit to see what was behind here, and there ended up being a couple more monsters that I killed. But overall, this optional dungeon is really easy if you're looking for a good amount of experience, but that's all the time I have for this episode. So until next time, this has been Razorflamekun, and may all of your days shine brightly.